A lot of credit to VCU. Let me just say this. I think Will Wade is as good of a coach out there. I think he's absolutely excellent. Teams play so hard. I understand when you follow. You didn't follow Coach Smart. I had to follow Coach Calipari at Memphis. I get when you're following those expectations, and he's done one heck of a job. He's a really, really good coach. So for us to get a win in a hostile environment, we're the most inexperienced team in all of college basketball. And, this is a rebuild job. It's a straight rebuild. We're starting, when I got hired at the time by the athletic director, he told me this is going to be a startup company. We're going to blow it all up, and we're going to start from ground zero. And so to get a win like this in a rebuild situation when you're starting from ground zero is a heck of a win when you're the most inexperienced team in all of college basketball. But that's a credit to our young men. And we found a way to win. We gutted it out, and that was the only way for us to get a win was to gut it out. Just a couple other things. I felt, I've made sure in the way I want our team to play is all about energy. I believe about energy. And on Saturday's game versus Tennessee, that fell right on my shoulders, the reason we lost the game. I mean, we still might have lost, but I felt I dialed down the practices based on, I was concerned about their legs, and it bit me in the rear end because we played like how we practiced. And we hadn't done that all year long, and we did that in that game. And so to come back, we had 3 great intense practices. Todrick Jackson had his best practices of his career, and that's why he played the way he played today, is because he practiced, and that's why he played like he played. So great win. All credit goes to the players. Our assistant coaches did a great job in preparation for us. And like I said, it's a great win against a very, very good VCU team that's very well coached by Coach Wade, and obviously one of the best up-and-coming coaches in the game.
How important is it for you guys to go home, not having lost 3 in a row on the road, to get a win, to just kind of go home, a nice bus ride home instead of a rebuilding bus ride home?
Well, think about it. I played on the 1997 national championship team at Arizona. All the way to this point in my career, I've never lost 3 games in a row. So that's as a player at Arizona, assistant coach at Arizona, assistant coach at Memphis, and a head coach at Memphis. I've never lost 3 in a row. So I didn't want to lose 3. I didn't want this to be my first time. And so I'm glad that for another week and a half, or hopefully for a while, I can keep that streak alive. No, I mean, listen, we're going into finals. We needed this win. And you're competing against, in a hostile road environment with the most inexperienced team in all of college basketball. Not the. You okay, sir? You okay?
Don't get MS.
Okay, I'll just make sure you're okay. I was making sure you're all right. So anyway, we just got to make sure that we take this win, we build on it, we continue to get better, and we just improve as we continue to move forward in our journey of rebuilding. And we're just, like I said, when they hired me, the athletic director told me, he said, I need somebody who has a temperament to go who can go through what you're about to go through in your first 2 years of the rebuild. He said, you might not win a game in all of ACC. You might win a total of 15 to 20 games in your first 2 years, total. If you can't handle that, you can't take this job. And so I hope we're better than those when I was hired on those premises, but that's what was talked about when they interviewed the job, because they needed somebody who was going to stay positive no matter what. So for us to have this win in this situation, I'm very proud of our young men.
Coach, you spoke briefly about Jackson, but can you talk more about how well your guards played tonight down the stretch and also in overtime?
Well, I thought we executed well in a lot of areas. I thought we did a good job executing an out-of-bounds defense, especially late in the game. And that's where we executed the best, was out-of-bounds defense. I thought we executed offensively in a lot of different areas. Now, between our 2 point guards, we had 11 turnovers. We got to be better about that. But Todrick Jackson did not play well against Tennessee. I benched him, and then he had 3 tremendous practices. He came in my hotel room last night and talked about how tired his legs were because he's never practiced that hard in his life. But how you practice is how you play, and it's just how he practices, how he played today. And he hit big-time shots. He was a high-level player. Late game there, we had a design play, and it kind of didn't work out. We were supposed to have a high ball screen with the drive, but it got screwed up. But we found a way to win, even with us missing all those free throws down the stretch, which is, I don't know. You almost want to have that's why I have all the gray hair I have.
So did you draw up that shot at the end of the first half?
You know what's funny? We win by 3 points. That's probably the difference. And heck, their shot at the end of the game almost went in. But let me tell you this: every day at the shoot-around, we always shoot half-court shots to end shoot-around. And today I won't leave the gym until we make a half-court shot. And the funny thing is that today it took us about almost 8 minutes for us to leave. We couldn't leave because we had to make a half-court shot. That's how we end shoot-around. And it paid off.
Who made it at the end of practice today? To get
Josh Okoji.
He came in averaging 17 points and finished with 3.
He didn't play as well, but you know what? He's a freshman, and this is just part of the growth. And that's just part of the growth. He's going to have to learn, and he's going to have to learn through experience, and he'll get better as we continue to move forward. But he's got a chance to be a really good player as we move down the road.
It's very early, but college basketball is this kind of game now when everybody talks about who's going to make the tournament, who's not the very person to jump ball. VCU,
Oh, VCU's an NCAA tournament team, not even a question. And like I said, I think Will Wade's one of the best coaches in the game, especially one of the best young coaches. He runs great stuff. Their teams play so hard. I know it's not easy following Coach Smart. I know how hard that is. But he's done a masterful job. He's recruiting at the very highest level. I would tell you that this is an absolute NCAA tournament team. You're in a great league in the A10, and you got a big time coach in Coach Wade.
But if you don't win a game in the ACC, it's not a good.
Well, I would say the ACC, for crying out loud, is the closest thing to the NBA. So I don't, I hope we win some games in the ACC. I mean, I'm just telling you what, I saw a bunch of those media guys projected that we're not going to win a game. And my AD at the time hired me, said you might not win a game. So I don't believe it, but that's what the expectations and the projections are, not from me, but from the outside people. So I hope we're better than that, but that's going to be time to tell. But VCU's an NCAA tournament team.
Zone was working pretty well in the first half, and then kind of exploded at the beginning of the second half, but then you seemed to clamp it back down. They had to go back to the 3 ball. What did you say?
I thought we did a good job changing defenses, and I thought our zone was good for us. I mean, look, here's what I would tell you in defense, especially in the zone. If it's a make and miss game, if they hit a bunch of threes, you'd say, Coach, and everyone else in Atlanta, Georgia Tech would be like, horrible zone coach, great offense, Coach Wade. If you miss some shots, you're saying you did a good job in the zone defense. It's strictly a make or miss game. And we got lucky that they missed some threes. They still shot 50%, but they missed their last 4 in overtime. So we got a little lucky. You got to get a little lucky when you're playing zone. You miss some shots, and but we missed so many free throws. You're just like, what are you doing? And especially there towards the end. But we really, the most important thing I felt and I was most proud of is, and we work on this, is out of bounds defense late game, and we did a great job on that. I've seen a lot of teams lose late game out of bounds defenses. And we guarded out of bounds late really well. And Coach Wade runs really good out of bounds plays. That's what I was most proud of, our young men.
One more question. Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Just